Zion Garcia doing the way back for 1Mic. This is take one.
I think I found a way back. I think I found a way back.
Hey guys, welcome to our 1Mic session for 2026. Here we are at the lovely Forbes Street Studios, and we have a wonderful list of artists that we're working through today. And basically we're going to be recording them with our 1Mic, our Røde NT1, which we've got set up in the recording room next door. I'll take you through very shortly and we'll have a look at the setup that we've got.
Moon and back blending together, been a road, cold weather. The car bus just skate ramps and bailing like I'm Johnny Knoxville on the pavement. Nana and Poppy could still afford to pay rent with a pension.
So obviously we start with our NT1 5th gen as our 1Mic, and being the only mic in the room, it is connected through our patch bay into the control room. And basically we have it mounted on our shock mount with our pop filter to avoid plosives. The NT1 has a cardioid pickup pattern, so we just have to make sure that the gold dot that we have on the mic is facing towards the artist. Because we are in a professional recording space, the room is treated, so we have a magnificent sounding room. To keep the isolation of the mic and not to have too much interference from other instruments, we are recording all of our other instruments via DI box straight into the control room again. We also need to be mindful of cameras and lighting in the room to make sure that nothing's making too much of a noise, but again, we just keep that to a minimum. So let's have a look inside the control room and we'll see how it's all patched up in there.
You keep on swimming around, you keep on swimming. Don't you ever get tired of the motion. You keep on swimming around, you keep on swimming. That's a lot of devotion.
So here we are in the control room, and we've got all of our channels coming in from the recording space via our patch bay and into our desk here. Now, our NT1 or our 1Mic is in one of our channels here, and we're just using the preamp from this desk. We're not using any onboard EQ or compression, and we're not using any outboard gear either, so it's a nice clean sound. That just gives us more control in post when we're mixing to be able to add all of our effects after the fact. Then we've got all of our instruments as well. Now, all our instruments, as we saw in the recording space, are all DI'd so that we keep the sound as clean as possible in there. Of course, there will be a little bit of spill from acoustic guitars and keyboard sounds and things, but they'll just add a little bit of extra room noise, which is nice to have.
Yeah, I saw you were at their family Christmas. I can't help but look if it's really none of my business, but sometimes it feels like I never knew at all now. Maybe that's okay.
So here we are back at Røde HQ, where I'm mixing all of the songs we recorded for our 1Mic series. Now, of course, even though all of these songs were recorded in the same session, each artist and song is unique, and so will have to be treated differently. But to show you my process, I'm going to take you through the mix for Zuli's song, Speed Dial.
Ask me where I wanna, baby, tell me where you're at, 'cause I'm out here on my own. Got you on my speed dial, I want you on my tongue.
I start by cleaning up the take. Cutting out any parts where there are no sung lines, I use a noise reduction plugin and only dial in enough to reduce the bleed without affecting the presence of the vocals. Then I even out the levels as much as possible. This way, when I start adding dynamics processing like compression and limiting, everything will be treated equally. Next, I pull up a channel strip plugin, which I use for EQ and some very light compression. In order to get the voice to really cut through the mix though, I then use a compressor with a particular tonal quality. Now, since we've boosted the higher frequencies, we'll need to use a de-esser before adding a limiter toward the end of the signal chain to put a ceiling on the output of the channel. Now, we need to make some considerations for tuning. Firstly, with a subtle catch-all tuning plugin, then for more surgical pitch correction, I'll use a tool that allows me to move them to where they should be. Finally, reverb and delay. A smaller room reverb to create a space around the vocal, and then a larger reverb to give the performance more impact and set the feedback, or times that the delay is repeated, to what feels right for the song. Now for the instruments, basically what I'm aiming for is a good balance of frequencies and placement in the stereo field to support the vocal rather than get in the way. Some EQ and compression on each of the instruments via a channel strip plugin, and a stereo widener on the keys to give it its own space away from the vocals and guitar in the center. And finally, on the master bus, I've got some subtle bus compression, some multi-band compression, and some loudness metering and true peak limiting to make sure we're mastering to spec for YouTube. If you have any questions about anything in this video or anything related to recording and mixing sound, let us know in the comments below. See you next time.
I want you on my tongue, ask me where I wanna go. Baby, tell me where you're at, 'cause I'm out here on my own. I've got you on my speed dial, I want you on my tongue. I've got you on my speed dial, I want you on my tongue. I've got you on my speed dial, my speed dial. Yeah, nice. Okay, nice, cool.